to merchya.com/United Kaiju Podcast and check out our new merch. Don't wait, get your UKP designs now.
Just US Japan. So, win-win.
Are we going to make surveys of animals on this trip too, Commander?
No, this is just for our own amusement.
This has nothing to do with our report to the UN.
Oh. Well, I don't see how you can be amused by gorillas. I think they're dull.
Well, this one's 60 feet tall. What do you think of him?
60 feet?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new episode of United Kaiju Podcast. Today's episode, this is exciting for the both of us because we have a very, very special guest with us today. She is Toho royalty. She has done tremendous work. You might recognize her from Toho's King Kong Escapes. General Susan Watson, aka Linda Jo Miller. Linda, how are you doing on this fantastic Sunday today?
I am doing fabulous. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
really
you for
appreciate
joining
that.
us.
Yeah.
And before we also get started, we have to wish all the moms, all the momfras out there a very, very special Happy Mother's Day to you all. I hope you're getting spoiled on this day, as you so should every day.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right,
Today is the
Ramon,
day of the mamas.
The day, Mama's Day. It's all about the mamas. But Mama's is every day, so let's not just say it's the only
Just for
day.
one day. No,
Respect
no.
your mothers before you get hit. All right? Okay.
Yeah.
Ramon, what needs to be done?
Alrighty, Linda. So before we begin the show of shows, we would be honored if you can bless the episode with the phrase that hopefully will get us paid.
All right.
Yep.
Daddy's home and cake every night.
And we are blessed. We are officially running, folks. Excellent.
All right.
As Ramon said, we have a very special guest, Linda Miller. She has worked with Toho and is Toho royalty, as Ramon said. Ramon, I'm going to kick it off to you, bud. I want you to really let out your passion with this one. So I'm gonna let you start first, bro.
All right. Well, before we get into the King Kong Escapes portion of the podcast, so this past Friday, we got the official announcement of the upcoming title for the MonsterVerse film, Godzilla X Kong Supernova. Linda, what are your thoughts about the upcoming MonsterVerse film?
How do I say this? It's like I'm excited about it, and I'm excited because it never dies, and it's always fresh and it's always new, but yet it's very familiar and very it's like part of the family. Do you know what I'm saying? And as the family grows, and then the next generation comes, and that seems to be what's happening. And I think it's fabulous. And I notice that when I go to conventions, a lot of times, grandpas will bring their sons who will bring their sons, and you can just see that, it's never going to die. And that's great. So that's what my thought is.
I love it. That's good. And it is. It's very true. The younger generation, and as we go down, they're the ones that continuously carry the torch for the franchise and everything. So it is really good that it's continuing.
Yep. Absolutely.
I got a question for you, Linda.
Okay.
Team Godzilla or Team Kong?
Uh-oh.
What do you think?
I was hoping Team Godzilla, but yes, I know.
No, King Kong. Team Kong.
Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
You have to remember, he was my very first boyfriend. So.
Yep.
You heard it here, folks. Linda is all about the Kong, so I respect it. Okay. Did you Did you like Godzilla versus Kong when it came out, or you were like,
Yes.
Kong should have done more?
Well, the one that came out where it was kind of like a tie in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My friends and I, we went to see it. I loved it. I just loved it. I loved it because they both fought really hard and they both got injured really hard. And, it wasn't like it was one-sided. It was like, oh, it looks like Godzilla's going to win. Oh, it looks like Kong's going to win. And then it was like, the thing I liked about it was there seemed to be a camaraderie, even though they're enemies, seemed to be a camaraderie. So I love that. I love that because I didn't want Kong to get his butt kicked. You know what I'm saying? Now he has a piece of my heart. So
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Ramon, what you got, brother?
So this one, sorry, I had a little throat crack there. Normally we ask our special guests, what Godzilla means to them. But for you, Linda, what was the Kong film that got you so involved with the character, and what does King Kong mean to you in your heart?
Okay, well, I grew up coming home from school and seeing the original Kong, the 1933 version, the black and white on TV. And
Stop
so
motion.
when I got approached to doing King Kong Escapes, that was obviously my only reference because I didn't know about any of the other films that had come out. And I was like honored that they would, first of all, I didn't know what the heck I was doing because I'd never acted before, but I was
Oh, wow.
honored that I could be Fay Ray, the new version, the new generation of Fay Ray. So I was very excited about that. And, I didn't know, honestly, I had never heard of Godzilla when I did King Kong Escapes, even though I was living in Japan. I know, isn't that awful? Even though I was living in Japan at the time but I wasn't an 10-year-old boy. And so I wouldn't go to monster movies, I'd star in them, but I wouldn't go to them.
Wow.
So, I had I thought nothing about Godzilla because he wasn't on my radar at all. But King Kong was. I had that experience as a kid coming home from school.
Wow, that is awesome. That is super awesome.
And we don't disrespect anybody who doesn't know about Godzilla, because I feel like even at that time, like, Godzilla really wasn't he didn't fully blossom to the icon he is. Yes, the original 54 film was iconic, but we always have to remember Kong came first, so I think it's completely understandable how Godzilla was not on your radar at the time. And besides, you got a lovable monkey going on, so why bother with the radioactive, angry lizard? Come on now. So that's great.
And he took care of me and protected me. And so what does every woman want? A man that will protect her, So he just fit it.
he made it happen. That's great. I love to hear that. Now, can you recall your first Godzilla film?
You are not going to believe this. Yes. I was in San Francisco. Bob Johnson has, I forgot, gosh, Bob, I'm sorry. The name of it is in San Francisco, and it's a movie. He rents a movie theater, and he will show, when I was there, he showed the original Godzilla 54. He showed the green slime, King, which I had never seen before, King Kong Escapes, and some other one of the Godzillas. And so I was sitting there talking, the fellow that was helping me with pictures and everything, he said, "Had you ever seen Godzilla?" And I said, "No, I'd never seen it." And so they made me leave my table and go watch Godzilla 54. I mean, they didn't make me. I wanted to go. And oh my God, Takarada-san was so young. He was like a baby when he made that movie. And
Wow.
he just looked so different from when he and I did our film together. And then, of course, 50 years later, when he and I got together again, I mean, but I really enjoyed the movie. So I kind of got to understand what, what the big deal was, because it was a big deal. And especially living in Japan right after World War II. Well, not right after, but kind of, well, during the Vietnam War.
Right.
And
Right.
so it just made a lot of sense, on that level, besides the entertainment level, the message level. So I really enjoyed it. And that was the first time I've ever seen it. So then they, maybe 2 years ago on one of the stations, they had a Godzilla Fest, and I watched about 3 of them right in a row. And I'm
wow.
terrible with titles and stuff, but I watched the one with Nick Adams and Takarada.
Yeah.
And then I watched a couple others, but the one with Nick Adams just really stands out in my
that's
mind.
Invasion of Astro Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the movie names half the time. I gotta go on Ramon over here and say, what was that called again, man? That is really sweet. And yes, absolutely. And then, like you said, you worked with Takahara on King Kong Escapes and whatnot. So it must have been quite a trip. First you're working with the guy, you see him on a movie, and you're like, okay, now I know why this guy is doing what he's doing, because he's such a distinguished gentleman.
See, and I when I was doing the film, I had no idea who was who, and so I didn't know who he was, and obviously he was a big star even back then, and I just was so oblivious. I didn't know anything, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, but he was just one of the other characters, and then. All these years later, and I find out, oh my God, he's done this, and he sings and he dances and, flies a kite, whatever, he just did everything. And so, I mean, I knew that Hamamiya was a star because she had just done the Bond film, and then she came and did our film. Mm-hmm. So I knew she was a star, and I was a little intimidated by her. So since I had so many scenes with Takarada-san, I'm glad I didn't have that extra knowledge that would have maybe affected, I don't know.
Right, maybe the attitude would have been a little different. You're like, oh, well, I'm working with a star. Ha 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 ha! Look at me go. You brought yourself to the table, and that is pure heart and passion. So
absolutely.
And he was super easy to work with and to talk to, because I spoke Japanese well enough. I mean, I couldn't go to the UN or anything, but I spoke good enough Japanese that he and I would talk in between takes. And he just was a really nice person, and everybody on that film was so kind and so, they just took, I don't know if they took extra care. I think that's just maybe their way anyway. Right. But what resulted is that I didn't feel as much of a foreigner. That's funny. I was a foreigner, but I didn't feel so foreign on that film that I would have, if they had acted differently towards me. Right. So it was an awesome experience.
And he's such a friendly guy. The last time he was at G-Fest, meeting him, and before he sat down as he's walking table, he did this little dance move, and he's smiling and whatnot, and. As you said, they were very welcoming, and you can see, you saw that in him.
Yes.
He just had that smile and that energy that kind of you gravitated towards, because you're like, this guy just seems like he has no chip on his shoulder. He's just straightforward type of guy, and he was a goof. He was a big goof from what I've heard. So,
yeah.
That's really
you
awesome.
should have seen him and Rhodes together. Rhodes
Really?
Reason, the other actor. I mean, even though Rhodes didn't speak any Japanese at all, I mean, they were telling jokes back and forth, and you knew some of them were dirty, because I knew just enough of what they were saying to go, oh, I think I don't need to hear this one. And they loved each other. They cracked each other up, and it could have been ego against ego, right. American movie star against Japanese movie, but it wasn't like that at all. I'm sure there was some element, mano a mano, but
of course, it has to be,
yeah, it has to be. but they enjoyed each other, and so the whole set was just awesome.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
That's
Ramon, what you
beautiful.
got, brother? What you got?
So when you said earlier, you were when you first, got introduced to Kong, what was it like when you got approached by Toho asking you, hey, we want you to be a part of this film, and then getting to meet the star himself face to face? What was that experience like for you? Because I'm sure that had to have been like a heart pounding moment for you. Because like if I
Well,
was told, hey, go meet Godzilla, I would be super pumped. So I can't even imagine how it was for you to meet Kong.
oh, I'm so sorry to disappoint you and let you down. First of all, I was not approached by Toho. I was approached
Oh,
by
okay.
Arthur Rankin, and
Okay.
I did not meet anybody at Toho until after I was ready to sign a contract.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
Arthur's the one who called me and said, "I want you in my movie," and then once we worked that out, and I went to Toho. I I met everybody, but I didn't know who I was meeting. And so, but the thing is, I never met Nakajima-san. I never met King Kong,
Oh.
except one accidental moment when I was coming out of either wardrobe or makeup or something, and he just happened to be there, and a photographer just happened to be there. And so he captured the first and only time he and I ever met on the film. And so I met him when he was in costume. I didn't meet him out of costume.
Oh,
Not
wow.
until we did conventions together in 2016. So
Wow.
it was,
Wow.
yeah, and because I met him in his costume and he's my height, you know, it wasn't an aha moment.
Mm.
Like I know you hoped I would tell you that. I'm so sorry to disappoint you. Uh,
No, you're good.
I love it. It's
I
great.
yeah.
yeah.
It's not something
So
you
I mean,
expect. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, she didn't. Oh, okay. So
yeah,
there's no letdown. I think it's
No,
great.
no,
yeah,
no, absolutely. Because you never know until like you start to ask the questions. Like, oh, I did not know that. I figured like, hey, here's your star that you're gonna be paired with through
no,
most of the film. So
no,
I was,
We just
hey,
assume
that's
here. That's all.
no.
No. Go
I
ahead.
was kind of, you know how they say baptism by fire. I was just thrown onto the set, and there everybody was, and had my script and thought, I don't know what I'm doing here. Uh, so it wasn't as glamorous and pre-planned. It was very, kind of matter of fact. And so we just had that one accidental meeting, which thank God there was a photographer there, and he caught it. There's some pictures of Kong and I, or Nakajima-san and I together, and some with Rhodes and Arthur Rankin and Nakajima. So I've got those pictures, and I'm really happy that that actually happened, because if that hadn't happened, there would have been no pictures of us together.
well, I
Oh
got
yeah.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
got
was just gonna say, Ramon. Let's pull up some photos.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
How
this is
what
so silly. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. So you got the Kong suit, and
Yep.
you have Ramon. What's the little serpent? Is there a name for the
I
serpent?
think it's just called the sea serpent. I have
That's
no
cool.
idea, to be honest.
All right, that's fair. All right. Now, Linda, do you remember taking this photo?
Yeah. I
What was
remember
your thoughts?
my thought is, I don't know what the hell to do. What do you want me to do? And they said, make a face. So I made a face. There there was not a lot of thought that went into that. It was just, okay, here you go. Snap,
It's
and
like,
that's it.
here, get the photo and go on your merry way.
The face works. I feel like that is the type of face that one would make when coming to some ugly looking serpent like that thing was. So
Oh,
I think it's a Kodak moment.
Kudos.
yeah, it
There's
was. I don't know why they took that picture, and they took a couple other, that were just kind of goofy. But that's, I think, the goofiest. The look on my face is so.
they're just like, make a face or do something like, all right,
Here's a face.
here's a face. That's what y'all get from me.
Yeah. Well, my background before this is I had modeled for like 2 years before I got the call, and so I was used to being told what to do. Stand here, look like this. Think this. So when they said that, I just did a pose, and
Right, you're already, you have the knowledge of being told the direction in that type of situation. So
yes,
it's like the photographer was like, all right, well, look surprised, boom,
yeah,
you could get it on cue, which is great. Like
yeah,
I love it. There is a
yeah.
picture, I just found it. It's of you, Takadera, and Nakajima, and you're holding a Kong
Mm-hmm.
figure.
I know what picture you're talking about.
That one
Yep.
right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when was that? How'd
Okay,
you
that
get together with those two?
that was January 2016. Okay, let me kind of fill you in a little bit of background. In 2014, out of the blue, I get a call from a fellow named Brett Hominick. Yeah, Hominick. I mess up his name sometimes. So anyway, I get this phone call at work out of the blue, and he says, "Hi, my name is Brett, and I live in Japan." And I said, "Oh, I used to live in Japan too." And he says, "I know, we've been looking for you." So then he goes on to tell me this story, and I'm thinking, what have I done that people are out looking for me, And when he told me that there was a fan base, I almost fell off my chair. I had no idea. So that was 2014, and then I got a call from my manager, or soon to be manager at the time, saying, you need to go to conventions. And so I went to Chiller in October 15. And then he said, "We're going to Japan." And I was so thrilled, and that's January 2016. I went to Japan, and Takarada and Nakajima and I did an event together. I did 3 events, one with the 3 of us, and you have that picture. One at the Tokyo Tower with a bunch of Star Wars people.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah. And then another one that was like, because they do things differently in Japan. The other one was like a fan invitation only. They had to
Mm-hmm.
pay, and we signed photographs. Oh, there's Henry Okawa. We signed photographs, and so that's when I met him for the very first time. And since the film, and then after that, we did a couple conventions together.
I love it.
That
That's
is
great.
awesome.
Yeah. Now, the fellow on the left, his name is Henry Okawa, and he was, because he used to live in the States at one time, so his English was pretty good. So he was hired by Toho for Rhodes and for me. And even though I spoke Japanese and I would be able to understand, most direction, if it got too technical or too deep, I needed somebody as well. So that's what Henry did. Henry was the interpreter, translator, go between Honda-san and anybody, any of the Japanese crew that needed to talk to us.
It's funny that you mentioned Chiller because I live 15 minutes away from that hotel.
Oh, wow.
I'm in Morris County as well, and I've been to Chiller a couple of times as well. So it's really funny that you even mentioned Chiller, because a lot of people, they don't know about Chiller. Like, Chiller is one of those cons that is like, it's super quiet, but
Wow.
the people in the area know about Chiller, and
Yeah.
it is one of those that you get to see the generations before us, and I love that. Like, I know, like, recently they had all the people from the Warriors there. Magume, what's her name? She was there doing her first in-state signing at one year that I went to, and it's fun. So I'm glad to hear that someone knows about Chiller, because a lot of people don't. So thank you.
I went
I'm
in.
one of those. I didn't know about it.
Oh, you didn't know about it? I went
No.
in 2015 and then again in 2018. And it was, you know who Carl Craig is from Destroy All Planets?
Vaguely, yes, I've heard the name.
Yeah, I
Gamera?
feel like I've
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, he and I did that together.
That's good.
And Linda Haney, that was in, oh, see, here I go. Oh, it was with Joseph Cotton, and it was one of the Japanese films. I can't remember. Anyway, so she was there. So there, all three of us had the Japanese connection.
Ah, I
Yeah.
love that. You have the VIP access to all the good stuff. Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. All I know is we were there and had a good time.
That's
That's
all that
awesome.
matters.
That is
And
awesome.
have you done G Fest? I think you did. You
I've
have,
done
right?
G Fest 2 times or 3 times. I've done it 2 times. I was supposed to have done it in 2019 because I told my manager at the time, I said, Takarada's getting older. We all are, but he's getting older and he's not in great health. I would like to be able to do, see him again. And so it was I thought it was all set up, but then there was some turmoil internally between my manager and G-Fest. And so I don't want to say I was uninvited, but it didn't happen.
Right.
And so I was really, really disappointed and angry at my manager, who's no
Right.
longer my manager.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what he deserves. So,
Yep.
yeah,
I don't know about that,
100%.
but I was very angry at him at the time. Yeah. So
Right.
so I've done it twice, and that's where I fit in the best because it's Godzilla, King Kong, all the Japanese monsters. That's where like my family is, if you know what I'm saying. And I go to other conventions and they've got, Star Wars and, The Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Walking Dead, all the deads, and
All the dead.
all different other things, which I do pretty well at, and I'm very happy. But G Fest is like,
It's home. It's the home.
Yeah.
field,
Oh, yeah.
basically.
yeah.
I
Those
hear
are my
that.
people, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even last year for me was my first G Fest. This year would be my second one.
Oh,
I've told John, like yeah, just recently we're now starting to get monster cons in Texas. And
wow. I want to
we've had,
go.
if you ever go to Garland or Dallas, we have DamCon. I've been to 2 of them to support a friend. He's a great guy.
Drop
There's a
drop a hint. Drop a hint.
drop a hint. I got you.
Ramon, she's basically telling you that when it happens, you need to give her a buzz and be like, "Hey,
That's
Linda,
right.
come on out. I have a ticket for you,
Oh.
Yes.
and room service on me, and let's go to DamCon." That's what she's saying right now.
No, absolutely.
Mental note next time, bro.
it will be a royalty and it'll be an honor to walk alongside you to DamCon, and you and I just.
I think
Put on a heck of a
Ramon, I
show.
think you'd be blushing the entire time. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself.
Oh,
you were such an icon, and one of your
Oh
your
my
favorite
God, you guys,
movies.
stop it.
I would be just like this the whole time,
Oh, you would not. I would not want you to be like that.
Linda, he would. He is a humble kid as long as I've known him. So he'd be like, "I'm not worthy. I am not worthy."
I would just be the
straight guard all day to you. You might as well just tell him to leave you alone now.
I would be the muscle enforcer basically as well too, because I know, yeah.
Yeah. See. I can't go to a convention unless I'm invited. You know what I'm saying? And it's got to be the promoter that thinks that, oh, if I invite her, then that means more money for me. And that's why they have the guests, is to bring you guys into the convention. So I'm always open. I love doing conventions because I really love meeting the fans. And at my age, I'm not going to be around 20. Well, I'll be around. I declare I will be around 20 years from now, but I may not be doing conventions for 20 years.
But you'll be around.
Oh, I'll be around. I'm going to live to 120.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah. My mom is 96. Wow. And ever since I was a little girl, she said, I'm going to live to be 105. And I swear to God, she will. She will. So anyway, so I'm going to beat her.
So.
Yeah. Well, the Bible says that we were supposed to live to 120. And I said, well, then I guess I'm going to live to 120.
And you know what? I hope that you are able to, do whatever you want at
Absolutely.
120 that nothing holds you back, because that
Yeah.
would suck, in my opinion. I feel like.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
my girlfriend and I were talking today. I'm getting all these texts. My girlfriend and I were talking today about how age is just a number. It is just a number, but with some people, they like embrace it and live that age. And I've
Right.
never felt that way, and I don't see any reason why I should start. So,
Damn
yeah.
right. Well said,
Absolutely.
Linda. Well said. Ramon, what? I feel like you should ask the question. I've been asking so many questions. Ramon, take it away.
We've been going back and forth. It's all good, man. But first off, if you ever, do get invited to a convention in Texas, it'd be an amazing honor to meet you. Um,
All right.
and once again, you get free security from me. So I got you. I got
He
you.
is muscle.
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
Um,
Let me just interrupt you 1 second, if I may.
go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I have never had a bad experience at a convention. I've
That's
never had a creep, I mean, being a woman, your radar is always up for that, just in
course.
case.
Yeah.
I have never, and I've seen some weird people,
Oh.
and weird costumes,
Well,
but
the horror
nobody's.
conventions, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
the Living Dead ones, I'm sure. Like you got some
Oh.
dedicated, passionate people. They'll put on their
Yes.
prosthetics and all
Yes.
that stuff. Come on over to you and like leak out some blood on like your photos and something. And you're just
Well,
like,
no, they
like,
don't
what are you
ever do.
doing?
Yeah.
But everybody, I've never had a bad experience, and I've never been creeped out. And usually it's the women that dress creepier than the men. You know what I'm saying? And
They
usually
are
they're
very
half
dedicated.
naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
so dedicated to the cause. I love it. And then even
Oh, yeah.
even like at Chiller sometimes, you'll see that and you're just like, wow, like they're all about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's
when you're
okay.
talking.
It's no
You're
no
allowed
worries. No worries. You're allowed to.
to talk over him.
You are Toho royalty after all, so permission is granted. But so leading into my question, besides the Kong that you got to, star with,
Uh-huh.
what other Kong do you hold the most value to you?
He's the one. I mean, there's only enough room in my heart for him. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do like the one where the Godzilla versus Kong, the one where it was like a draw. I did like that one. I did like that. Oh, the one with, oh my gosh, Kaylee. Oh,
That's
my memory's.
the Godzilla vs.
Yeah,
Kong from
yeah.
Legendary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
GVK.
I loved that one.
Yeah.
Is that the same? No, that's the same one.
Yeah, they're
That's
Well,
the same
so-
one. Okay.
Go ahead, John.
I don't like. Yeah, I feel like and this is always like the debate is who won that movie.
I think
God.
it was a tie. I definitely think it was a tie, but it was like mutual respect
Right.
to the other.
Right.
Like, man, you're really awesome, and so am I. And I felt not that they were friends, but they were
like,
enemies.
all right,
that
we're gonna coexist. I don't like you. You
Yeah.
don't like me.
Like me,
but you are a worthy adversary.
Yes.
And I nod to you and walk away. That's exactly how I felt at the end of that movie when Godzilla.
That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how I felt.
Right, Kong just ripped the head off of Mechagodzilla. He's like, yeah, look at me go. And then he slouches and then Godzilla comes over and Kong's like, all right, I gotta fight this stupid lizard all over again. And Godzilla goes,
Relax. Like we're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool for now.
Yeah.
For now.
you live another day, Kong. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
It was a
so
nice choice.
I really liked that one. And I saw Skull Island, and that one, I liked that one too. And I loved when Samuel Jackson got killed. The whole theater went, yay! He got
Hey, he
that.
played an excellent villain in that movie, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was quite a
And-
scene.
And I liked it because of all the ones I'd seen prior to that. There wasn't that relationship between Kong and a girl, and that was the first one, that with Brie Larson that had a connection, you know.
Right, instead of
Well,
like
there was
a
with Jessica. No, I have to take that back.
well, it was like a relationship. Like
Yeah.
they felt like
Yeah.
they fell in love, so to speak. And I in Skull Island is one of my favorite Kong movies because it kind of changes the formula a little bit.
Yeah,
Kong isn't drawn to the beauty and dies because of the beauty. He's drawn to the beauty, but he goes, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it this time around. Like
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth
Been
it.
there, done that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's it. And even in that one scene, I always say there's a scene where I think he lifts up the helicopter off of the wildebeest or whatever. Brie Larson is looking up, and Kong just like and turns around and walks away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ha ha, not this time.
Nope.
That sounds
I
a
love
little
it.
too personal.
Well, because it's like it happened too many times with Kong. It was the same thing
Yeah.
with Kong movies, right? Like, okay, he gets captured, he goes to New York City, Kong falls in love, he's trying to save the beauty, but dies in the end. It's all a repetitive process, and that's why I feel like Kong really couldn't take off. And Skull Island changed that kind of formula and was like, okay, he acknowledges her. He is like, okay, beautiful, but I'm not doing it. No,
Mhm.
take, get off my island. I
Yeah.
don't want you here. Like, what are you doing on my island for?
Yeah.
So I love it. It's one of my favorite Kong movies by far.
Yeah, I liked it too. I'd forgotten that I'd seen it until just now. Yeah.
It's one of those things that comes and goes. It's like it's so good, but I forgot about it. Oh man, but that's okay because I do too. So
My head is just full of all this information.
All
There's
this
just not
stuff. You just
enough
don't know where to
space.
go.
I love
Yeah.
it. That's great. That's great to hear. What was your first G Fest? What do you think? What was your experience with your first G Fest?
That G Fest was my third convention in the States.
Wow.
And Takarada was there. So he and I sat next to each other. And it was at the other hotel, which was smaller,
The Crown.
Crown. And I mean, I thought it was fabulous. I didn't see as many people dressed up as I did at Chiller. There was some bizarre stuff at Chiller, but not at G Fest. And that's where I realized that all the people going there were true kaiju fans. That they were there for all the Japanese monsters and all the vendors and everything. And I didn't know at that time that there were vendors until I went to G Fest. I went, oh, people come here to sell things as well.
You didn't see the vendor room at Chiller at all? Because that room is pretty big.
No. I was in my room, and then I went and saw Rick Goldsmith, who from Rankin Bass. He does all the Rankin Bass stuff. And then I was pretty much stuck in my room most of the time, so I didn't, go
They
check
put
anything
you in like
out.
one of those like little I know there were like all these hallways you can go down, so they just put you in like the little square room and you just sat there basically.
Well, the first time I was actually in a hallway, and John Schneider was there, and oh gosh, what's her name? Jennifer O'Neill was there, and so John Schneider, of course, is really cute, so I wanted to go meet him. I'm 5 foot, and he looked like he was 10 foot tall. That's how tall he is, And Jennifer O'Neill was just beautiful, and I was just in a hallway, and I said to the manager, I said, I don't know, what if I go there and everybody's expecting the 19-year-old Linda Miller, and here I am in my 60s. Then I was in 60s. I said, I don't look like I used to look, And he said, that's okay. All your fans from when the film first came out, they don't look like they used to either, so don't worry about it.
No. No.
I said, okay, you know,
That is a great way to look at it. To be honest,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's
yeah,
100% true. Like they're not
yeah.
the not the same. You grow in
Yeah,
age.
because in the Hollywood, everybody's young and everything's really tight and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. And
Yep.
and so I was concerned that I would let everybody down, that their expectations, I wouldn't meet up to their expectations, and that would be embarrassing. And he said, "No, don't worry about it." So I said, "Okay."
That's beautiful. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I love hearing that. It's a great
Uh,
story. Linda. Fantastic. Ramon, what you got, brother?
oh man. Well,
Don't think too hard, bud.
uh, no, I was gonna say, well, first off, you are amazing. So don't ever let those doubts, cloud your judgment in any
Thank you.
way. And if anybody has an issue with that, they can come talk to me.
I'll remember that. I'll need your
Yep.
phone number and address before we go.
Enforcer today, Ramon. Jesus.
Enforce it today.
So, Ramon, you're in Texas.
Yes, ma'am. Born.
Whereabouts?
I'm closer to Dallas Fort Worth. Like I'm up
Okay.
north, basically. I live in a
Okay,
small
because
town called McKinney.
I lived in the Oklahoma City area for a while, and went to Dallas like a couple
Oh.
times. Yeah. So, and I've got friends in Austin, and at one time I had a fleeting thought of moving to Austin, because it was, I like Texas a lot. I like Texans a lot too. Yeah, they're
Well,
cool people.
What happened that I thought? Like, what did you just like? No, forget it now. I
Well,
don't wanna.
I decided I didn't want to marry the guy, so
Oh,
that's
there we go. Well,
Yeah, there you go.
that's a fine reason.
yeah.
We'll
So
see.
we decided the best thing is to be friends, and so we're friends.
That's awesome.
In fact, he was my high school boyfriend, and I went to my 50th um not graduate, yeah, graduation, 50th anniversary,
Wow.
and I met my best friend there from high school, and she was married to my high school boyfriend's brother. And so they told him that I was there, and he was single and I'm single. And so we got in touch and we dated for about 3 years, long distance. And so it got to the point where we needed to make a decision to go forward.
Right.
And it's like, this is way off topic, but it's like I said to
No.
him, I don't think I would make you happy. And I know I wouldn't have made him happy, because our personalities were so different.
Right.
He's a great guy, but we were not we're a good match for friendship, but not for anything else. So anyway, that's my Austin experience. And if I had moved, I would have loved Austin,
It's
Yeah.
all about the compatibility. If it
Yep.
doesn't, if it's not there, hey, it can be there as a friend. So that's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
real beautiful
Yeah.
thing. I love it.
Yeah.
Ramon, my brain is fried,
His-
dude. So
No.
I can bust out some more.
Yeah, yeah.
Ramon,
Yes.
what is your favorite scene in King Kong Escapes? with Linda Miller? What would you
Ooh.
say, Linda Miller? I loved you in this scene in King Kong Escapes. I want to know this one.
Oh man.
Now
there's
remember,
so
Ramon,
many-
she's right there, dude. So you
Yeah, I
gotta
No,
know.
no,
get this good.
Pressure.
No,
right
yeah,
The
now.
pressure
I
is.
this. No.
I'm looking at you.
I
Come on,
thrive under
Enforcer,
pressure.
what you got?
I thrive under pressure, so the heavier the better, in my opinion. So I think one of my favorite scenes with you, Linda, had to have been, when Kong comes out of the cave to confront Gorosaurus, because again, I love that Toho pay the homages to the original Kong, because
Uh-huh.
that's the first Kong film that not the first, actually the second Kong film I got introduced to, because I'm a huge sucker for stop motion, black and white, old school films. But I love that you captured the aspects of Fei Ray for this one, and it's probably one of my
Oh.
favorite scenes in the film. So kudos to you for carrying her or putting the legacy on, on yourself by carrying that scene forward.
Oh, you are so kind. Oh my gosh. So are you talking about the scene where he puts me up into the tree as he fights
Yes.
Gorosaurus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That, you know, one of my friends said to me when they were watching the film, they said, well, that's cool. The two guys go off and leave you all alone in the jungle. you know, I said,
Typical man
I
thing,
never
like
picked up on
really.
that before. Leave you all alone in the jungle to fare for yourself. That scene, a story about Honda-san and how he directed you. He was a quiet and soft-spoken man, and I just, he was kind of like a dad. Is the feeling that you had, is that here's dad, we got to do what dad likes and do it the way dad wants it done. And he actually told me by demonstrating how he wanted me to react in that scene. He says, I want you to put your hand up to your mouth and be scared. And he did it. And when I look at that scene, all I see is him acting it out and me just mimicking what he did.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, and that's how he directed a lot, because I
oh,
didn't know what the heck I was doing, and so he would act out sometimes and say, "This is how I want you to do it." Yeah.
that is great. And with being your first kaiju film with Sunimation, what was your reaction to when you're like, these are guys in suits? That's something next level. Like
Yeah.
what were your thoughts? Were you like, this is crazy, or were you like, this is some craft we're looking at here?
I see. I never saw it because
What?
when they were doing
Man.
their thing, I wasn't in the scene at all.
Oh,
Not even on the
I'm
side,
so
like
that was
sorry.
no,
that
no,
was
no.
gonna be
It's
one of my
okay.
no. It's
This is
okay.
great to know
This
because
yes.
we, I guess, as fans, we're always like, well, everyone must be a part of it. Like this is a
Yeah.
Toho film, but
Yeah.
it's very humbling to learn that you're not. But I'm kind of surprised, like not even on the side and nothing.
Yeah.
No side view.
Because
No,
yeah.
they did their shooting, and all of my stuff was done separately, and then they
Wow.
blended it together with their magic dust, and
Okay,
Good.
then to rephrase, when you saw the movie, what did you think when you saw, like, King Kong, defending you against the Gorosaurus? Like, what was your thoughts? Like, those are guys in suits, and I look
Yep.
like a tiny little ant right now, and holy hell, this is interesting. What were your thoughts?
I did not think like that when I was at the film, and when I went to the premiere in Tokyo, and I saw it for the very first time. I thought, oh wow, that's how they did it, but I didn't think about guys in suits. I just was like, oh, so that's how, because I couldn't imagine how they were going to put everything together, and so I was actually delighted because it looked better than I imagined it would look. Even though I never got to see it, but in my mind, I'm thinking, there's no way they can pull this off, Um,
Wow.
and even like when I was in Kong's hand, I was never in Kong's hand. I was
Right.
on a sound stage with a blue background, or was it green? No, I think it was blue. And this mechanical, furry covered mechanical hand that I had to get up on a little ladder to get into. And
Oh
then they
no.
would lift it up, and then I had to pretend all of this is happening that in front of me, that was not happening in front of me, and I had to pretend. And so I used to think, how the hell are they going to do this? And so that's when I saw the film, and I saw, oh, I am in the tree. I wasn't in a tree.
How did I
I
get
mean,
here?
I wasn't in a tree. And then when I was in Kong's hand, I went, oh, I was never in his hand, but it looked so, I mean, compared to today, no, it didn't. But back then it was like, wow, it was fascinating to see how they actually pulled it off,
And that was
So
your first time, like, was that your first time working with like the blue screen, green screen sort of thing?
My first time for everything.
Wow.
Everything.
Whoa.
I had
So,
never acted a day in my life. It
so
it
then,
was like,
well, go ahead, Linda, please.
no, it was just, they just threw me in and said, that's what Arthur said. And I said to him, Arthur, I don't know how to act, because we met 3 times before I said yes. And I said to him, I'm going to ruin your film. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to act. He said, no, it's okay. It's not that hard of a part. You just look like Susan Watson, so you have to do it, And so I said, if you're crazy enough to pay me to do this, then okay, I'll do it. The first day on the set, my heart was pumping like this. I didn't know what I was doing. So everything that I experienced, it was for the first time on that film. And I was sure for the first 2 weeks they were going to fire me. I just knew they were going to fire me. I said to my mom every day at the end of filming, I said, I know they're going to come in and fire me. I just know it. And so after 2 weeks, I thought, they've spent so much money on all this filming. I guess they're not going to fire me, So.
Like,
I didn't know what I was
was
doing.
there direction with the whole green screen thing? Because I feel like even like nowadays with how good CGI is and whatnot, I kind of like look at it as like that must be really difficult to visualize something that is not really there. Like as you said, when you're in Kong's hand and it's an actual like prop hand, gigantic, whatever. You still have to portray the emotion of seeing this, 300-foot monkey, and he's all looking at you lovey-dovey. Was there what direction? What direction were you given with it?
right.
Well, they would tell me before I got in the hand, they'd say, okay, this is the scene where blah, 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 blah happens. And so they said, I want you to look. They gave me a spot to look at. And this is what's happening. And I want you to react to what's happening. And this is how I want you to react. I want you to be afraid. I want you to be da-da, da-da, da-da. And so I just did what I was told, and,
it's
I was
very impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I was scared not to. You know what I mean? I was scared.
I can't even imagine.
But then I feel like that fear kind of helped you in that.
It did,
because you had to portray the fear. So you're like, I'm afraid already. I got this in the bag.
They're gonna fire me. Well, go ahead.
You use it as fuel for it,
Oh,
basically. Like they're gonna fire me, so I'm already scared. Let me act that out there.
Yeah,
act it out.
Well, Rhodes told me, because I discussed this with him. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've never done this, and he gave me this example that he had a scene with this really beautiful woman, and it was a love scene, and they had to kiss, and she had horrible breath. And he said, I did not want to kiss that woman. And I said, well, what did you do? He said, I pretended that her face was a rose. And I imagined her face was a rose, and I was kissing the rose. And he says, that's what you have to pretend. You have to pretend Kong is standing right there. And what would you do if he was really there and doing XYZ? What would you do? How would you feel? And so that helped me quite a bit, So
that's fascinating.
Wow. That is.
You look at it, especially for the technology back then, and like you said, like how they all piece it together. But even still, like you have to play the role for it to be believable to the audience. Because if you're just like, oh no, Kong,
Kong,
scary.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like just like really like, oh okay. That's not exactly
I would have
believable.
been fired if I had done.
Yes. Then your fear would have came true. 100%.
Yeah, yeah, you're gone. You're gone.
We've had enough of this form, girl.
Yeah.
But it shows in the movie that you you did it. Like, you portrayed it. It was truly believable. Like, I feel like if I sat there and went, well, giant monkeys exist, and that's exactly what I would do if a giant monkey exists and had me in the palm of his hand. So,
Yeah.
Is
you
that a
nailed it,
monkey?
Linda. Obviously, you nailed it. You know
Yeah.
that by now, at least.
Because I'm watching it right now, and yeah, you definitely.
Are you
the
watching
scenes
it on
that you're
Pluto? Or
No,
did you
I
got the DVD? He loves you, Linda.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got the Blu-ray. There we go. There we go.
Yep.
That is a movie I still need to purchase. I should do that.
Oh, it's a good watch.
Of course it is.
Send me
I
your
have-
address. Send me your address,
Oh,
and I will send you one, and I'll autograph it for you. Seriously, I'm
you
not
know
joking.
what, Linda? This is a running gag on the show.
Yeah.
It's not really a gag. It's the truth. Like,
it's
we
the
have
truth.
a third co-host. He's doing things and whatever. Anytime we've brought on a guest, he's always the one that gets the hookup.
Every
Artist
time.
and whatever, you name it. Everyone goes to him. I've never gotten one yet, and here you are going.
No, yeah,
So,
me.
I am truly blessed, Linda. I will reach out to you.
Okay, yeah,
yes.
sincerely,
Thank
do
you
that.
so much. I thank you so much. I mean, so then, I guess one of my thoughts would be, okay. Did you see Godzilla -1? We're going into it, Ramon. I don't care.
I saw
it's fine.
like the first. Oh, you're gonna kill me. I saw the first 45 minutes, and then something happened and I couldn't finish it, and I've never gone back. So no.
Linda.
Oh,
I don't know if I
know.
can give you my
It is-
address
All right,
anymore.
you're gonna pull the
I'm
plug right
so
now.
disappointed.
Interview over. I just
Fine.
know it.
We're closing it up,
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this
Thanks for
episode of
joining.
United Kaiju Podcast.
No.
no.
But even for the 45 minutes that you did see it,
Mhm.
your thoughts, please.
Yep.
Oh, I thought the photography was great, and the story was very interesting. I saw the scene. I guess there were planes and stuff, and they on the island, on some island. Of course, Japan's all islands.
The Odo Island.
Odo
Yeah.
Island.
Okay, and then all of a sudden Godzilla's there, and everybody's getting killed and all that. So that's
That's your whole thing of it. Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, Linda, you can see it on Netflix if you have it.
Yeah, it's
on
Yes.
available on Netflix.
and that's where I started to watch was on Netflix. And I got distracted. Something happened and I couldn't finish it. And then for some reason I just never went back. And I keep thinking, damn it, I better watch this because I know somebody's going to ask me about it and I'm not going to know a darn thing. And so here we go.
There it is.
Wow.
Well,
Prophecy fulfilled.
it's a movie we talk about consistently on here. Like,
Oh my
we'll
God.
just
Well,
sidetrack to it.
Well, it won an Academy
The Oscar.
Award.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Very
saying? So there's a lot to be, a monster movie,
Yeah.
So that was
Especially a
phenomenal.
foreign monster movie.
Yeah.
A foreign monster. Yeah.
For the first time, we're looking at 70 years of Godzilla, and he never won anything except, I think, an MTV award, which was
Like,
funny
yeah.
as well. I think that's back like 96, not even, maybe, I don't know, around then. But yeah, that's what I remember as a kid. He won that award, but otherwise, no, you never saw him won something so
grand.
prestige as this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I definitely understand, but absolutely you gotta watch it because it's really.
I will. I
you know,
will.
Talking about war in the beginning, it expresses a lot about war, and Toho has always been anti-war and all that type of stuff. Even though all their movies have war in it, which is kind of contradicting in its own, but that's okay. They're great films.
Well, after World War II, and Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Yeah.
I could see why they would feel
yeah.
the way that they feel. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the really, like, even I've told people, I'm the only one that felt this way. But there were times during -1 that I forgot I was watching a Godzilla movie, and I thought it was a really a tale of war, and all about it. And then it kind of just went, oh yeah, I'm watching a Godzilla film. But for it to take me away from the reason I was there to begin with and still hold interest. I found it to be one of those films that's like, even if you don't like history, you learn a lot and you have to appreciate what Toho did, changing a narrative as to like the kamikaze pilots. I don't want to ruin it for you, so I'm not gonna.
Okay.
But
Okay.
they changed they changed the whole thing about kamikaze pilots, and it's like, damn, I wish that would have happened half the time because they were really brutally beaten.
It was very
And
harsh.
if you didn't do your duties, you were. I mean, well, most of them did. No, none of them really learned what happens if you did it, unfortunately. But yeah, I would highly suggest. I even told my mother the same thing. I said,
Wow.
it could take you away from it being a Godzilla film, and I loved it. I cried about like 3 times every time I saw it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm dog sitting tonight, so I'm going to put Netflix on and watch it.
I'd love to hear
Awesome,
your
awesome.
reaction on it, Linda. Love to hear it
Yeah.
because I feel like it's always good to get someone from the
Yeah.
OG movies to the new G movies.
Yep.
Gotta hear it. Okay, so then if you had to make a Godzilla versus Kong movie, who would win?
I like. Okay. You know what I
Who versus
like?
Kong?
Okay. I like the way the other one ended in a mutual respect. That's how I don't want either one of them to be killed. I really don't.
No.
No,
But I mean, I would have
understand.
it be suspenseful that it looks like not in one fight scene, but in different scenarios, one of them wins and then the other one wins, so that you're thinking, oh, it's going to be this way, and it's like, oh, it's going to be that way, and then, no, it's going to be an honor film. Yeah.
Okay, but would you have Kong win more battles than
Oh,
Godzilla?
sure.
And
Yep,
and
there
then
it
the
is.
draw is called. It's like, all right, Kong gets a good uppercut on
And
Godzilla's chin, and then
I
draw.
would have a cheerleading section of all the Kong girls.
I mean,
Cheerleading, go Kong, go!
I mean,
Rah, rah.
not for nothing or anything, but the scene in GXK when they're fighting in Egypt and Kong does land that uppercut and then it's just ground and pound of Godzilla. I was actually like, yeah, freaking get it, like get your payback. Then he
Yeah,
lands that like final punch where he's like sort of knocked out. I put that in quotes because he was
yeah,
knocked out. But
yeah.
no, even for me, I was like, heck yeah, dude, get you some of that, man. I know you were like this freaking like I was rooting for
All
Kong.
I could say is pocket sand. That was my favorite scene in that entire film. Kong just grabs the sand and just throws it at Godzilla, so he totally misses. I'm like, yeah, a giant monkey would do that.
It would
dirty
do
move.
that.
He would. I feel like he should have also like thrown like a tree at him. Missed opportunity.
They were in Egypt.
This guy, we know there are palm trees right there. They got palm trees there. They can smack them. Okay. All right. Now, in follow up to that, Linda,
Yes.
would you have it that Kong gives the nod of the draw, or would you keep it as Godzilla gives the nod of the draw?
Oh.
Because like I guess I could see like Kong if he has the axe, he kind of puts down the axe and he's just like,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
think
good.
so.
I
Yeah.
could see that. I would have been fine with that as well. Okay, that's solid.
Yeah.
I like it. We should make it happen.
Okay.
So is there a plan for any upcoming conventions that you're gonna be doing?
I'm gonna be in Brooklyn.
For Kaiju Brooklyn.
Kaiju Brooklyn.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be trying to go to that as well.
I hope so. And I haven't been to New York since 1976. I went for the bicentennial. And so I haven't been to New York since then. I mean, I've been to Chiller, but that's still in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've been to a couple other conventions in New Jersey, but it's still New Jersey, you know. I mean, we drove by and we saw the skyline, but I haven't been in New York. And I don't know what Brooklyn is compared to any of the other boroughs or Manhattan or any of that.
It's
So I don't
different.
know where I'm going. I just know I'm going to be in Brooklyn,
It
you
it,
know.
it is very different. I grew up in Staten Island and Brooklyn. I went to college in Brooklyn and hung out there, and it is very different from each borough. Like once you go from Manhattan to Brooklyn, people are totally different. So,
Mhm.
but Kaiju Brooklyn is a really great con. This is, I think it's the third year now they're doing it. I believe. I think this is the third one. Good
Third or
friend.
fourth, maybe.
Is it the fourth? I don't even know anymore. All these conventions just kind of ball into
They're
one
just
unit.
popping out of nowhere.
They really are now. What's his face does it?
Robo 7.
What's his actual name? Like
Stand by.
what? This is horrible. I swear, dude. If you're listening, I'm so sorry. I'm forgetting your name. I was out way too late last
No,
night.
no disrespect to you, sir, but
Anthony. No, I know he's Italian. He's Italian stallion. Um. Oh my god, this is horrible. I have his art on my wall. Don't hate me, dude. I'm sorry. Whatever, but he's also like good friends with Subaraya and all that stuff. So
Oh,
um
really?
yeah, so a lot of like the Ultraman stuff that you see there, it's like that's his like connection as well. I know like a couple, well, the first one they showed like a bunch of Ultraman movies.
Subaraya, he was he the first Ultraman? Is that
Yeah.
yeah.
He
okay?
also
He
did
was on my
work.
film. He was on King Kong
Really?
Escapes. He was one of the henchmen.
No kidding.
Yeah,
his
I had
name's
I had a crush
John
on him too.
Fedorowski.
John, that's right. John, sorry, John. I love you, but don't hate me when you see me. Um, yeah, he and then Subaraya did a lot with Toho at the time in the beginning, from what I
Yeah,
know, and
Yeah.
he
then
was.
Subaraya did his own thing with Ultraman and whatnot.
Yeah. In fact, when I was there in 2016 at the not Eiffel Tower, the Tokyo Tower, he was there, and I went, and I recognized him, he, you know, as we all do, he looks a lot older, but he still looks really great. Still really handsome, you know, for an old dude, you know what I mean? And I had a crush on him when I was doing King Kong Escapes. I thought, oh, he's so cute. I was
they
19, you know.
they got some good skin out there. I'm
They
telling you,
do.
like they
They do.
always look the best, and it's just like, how old are you again? Oh,
Yeah.
excuse
Okay.
you. Like, don't be rude with your good looks. Get out of here with that. I love it. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Any chiller? Do you want to do chiller
No,
again?
I want to do chiller. There's, I don't know what the issue is, but for some reason, I don't want to say. I
No,
have a theory.
absolutely.
I have a theory,
Mhm.
but I don't know if the theory is valid or if I'm just doing it to make myself feel better. But I've not been invited back since 2018. So, but I
Well,
would like to do it. In fact, Rick Goldsmith, he was at a convention I did in Akron in February, and so he said he would say something, you know,
I'm
to
gonna
the
have to
guy.
say something. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say
so
something
we'll
next
see.
time
You
it
just
comes
never
around.
know. You know, everybody's always going to say something, and you know, you just never know because that's how the business is. You know.
It's
Yeah.
all he said, she said. In the end, no one wants to get the real story in the end, because everyone
Mm.
the story has gone down, has changed over the years and whatnot. But if the people from Chiller are listening, go reach out to Linda. Come on.
Yeah,
What are, what are,
I
what are
would
y'all
love to
doing?
do
Come
chiller
on.
again.
Let's
Yeah.
let's
Seriously.
let's make it happen. Let's make it
What's
happen,
up?
folks.
And
What
see,
is
I
it?
live in Virginia, so for me
Okay.
to drive to New Jersey is, you know, not that big a deal. The first time I went to Chiller, I flew to Newark Airport. But Carl and I did Chiller in 18, and we just drove up together, and it wasn't that big of a deal because he drove. So it
Right.
wasn't that big of a deal. And I've done several in Pennsylvania and New Jersey that we just drive because it's so, you know, it's close. And sometimes it takes as long getting from, driving to the airport, getting on the plane, all that as it does to drive.
That is, I might have to drive to G-Fest there, Ramon, because now Jersey did this whole real ID thing.
Oh, you don't have your
Officially.
real ID?
I to be fair and honest, I'm not gonna make any excuse for my mom. She said the same exact thing when I said this. I put it off for so long just because it didn't like register in my brain that I needed to do it. But the problem is I can't find my social security card. So I had to
Oh,
order a new
no.
one. That takes 10 days. So I have to wait. And getting an appointment is pulling I will say my analogy always is it's trying to find a piece of hay in a needle stack. It's painful and practically impossible right now. So
Yeah.
I just said, all right, let me get my thing. But I totally understand it. Going to the airport is more of a hassle than just going on the road and driving. So
Sometimes, but you would fly out of Newark?
yeah, I would fly
That's
to. I would
that's
do long-term parking, and I just fly out of there.
yeah, that's not such a happy place to be right now. That airport.
No, I am not. I'm not looking forward to flying to G-Fest this year. I am,
Yeah.
and usually I fly United, and with all the issues that are going on with United, I am a bit worried that I might not make it because of that. And actually, one year, Ramon, this was before you started joining us. They canceled my flight like right when I got to the gate. And
Oh my gosh.
I was terrified because this was my first time that they canceled. So I call my mother. I'm just like, what do I do? I just got to the gate. They canceled. I'm standing in line. They sent me the email. I'm like, well, this is a slap in the face. Great. And luckily, with United, if they cancel, they have to rebook you on the next flight, whether it's a competitor or not. So phew. But so we're gonna see, Ramon, how that works out for me.
All I know is, man, if you don't go, I will be freaking
I'm driving.
heartbroken.
I will drive. I'll do the 12 hours. I think I can handle it.
See, I that was our original plan because my original plan was like I was willing to do the drive from Texas to Chicago. I didn't care. I'm like, I will drink 3 Bang energy drinks if I have to because I'm a caffeine fiend as well as you know. I was willing to make it happen, but my folks were like, nah, we're not doing that. That's not happening. Let's just fly. I was like, all right, sure, whatever.
You'll be glad you flew because you'll have that time and that energy, for G-Fest.
It saves you a lot of like energy, and like I get to just sit on the plane and watch Godzilla movies, and that just takes so long.
You know what? You know what's funny? When I did Bob Johnson, if I talk too much, just let me know.
No,
but
you're
I
good.
did Bob Johnson's convention. I think it was not 21, 22. I think in 22. And I'm sitting on the airplane, and sitting right next to me is a guy watching King Kong versus Godzilla versus King Kong. And I'm just sitting there and I posted it on Facebook, I took a picture of it.
Imagine if he knew like that he was sitting next to someone who worked with Kong to begin with. I could only imagine. I would love to see that reaction.
That would have been priceless.
Ramon, I feel like you would be starstruck. You'd be like, there she is.
Oh, I mean, all I know is I was just immediately pulled the "we're not worthy" stick.
Oh my God.
I mean, like I said, you are Toho royalty, regardless how you feel and how you see it. You are royalty. So just the fact that you are even with us at this very moment just means the freaking world to me. It really does.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And,
that's very sweet. See why I love doing conventions?
Yeah.
People ask me, why do you like doing conventions? And I said, well, where can you go where everybody loves you? And you can't get that at home.
Yeah, and it's genuine. It's a genuine love. It's not that you don't get genuine love at home, but
I know
it's
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
we're extremely grateful and thankful for people like you who have done these movies because it kept it going for as many years. And Kong might not be the most popular monster currently.
Uh-huh.
And he's getting up there. I mean, I will always say Kong is the West's kaiju as
America's
Godzilla
kaiju.
is
Oh,
Japan's
that,
kaiju.
yeah. Yeah.
And I think it is great that he is getting more spotlight because I've debated this with fans and whatnot. Is I believe that a lot of the times these people come out because Kong is in these Godzilla movies. I think if it was just Godzilla alone, I don't think it would draw that greatly as much as it is with Kong because Kong is a known name. Like if you say
Absolutely.
Kong is going to be in this new movie, people are going to go, "Oh, really? What is he doing in this film?" They're not going to go, "Oh, is Godzilla in it first?" No, they're gonna wonder about Kong first. So I think it's great that he is getting the love that he deserves
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
especially after Peter Jackson's. What'd you think of Peter Jackson's King Kong? How'd
Which
you
Good
feel?
question.
which one was he?
That was in 2005. That was with
Jack Black,
Jack
Naomi
Black.
Watts, Adrian Brody.
I
I think
did not see that one.
Peter
Really?
Jackson probably
Okay.
get mad at you for that one, but that's okay. It was a great film though, really good.
Was it? Okay.
It sticks to
Hey,
the
enforcer.
formula, but it's a little longer in my
Who
opinion than
was the girl in that one?
Naomi Watts.
That was the one with Okay, I've seen portions of it.
that's
Yeah.
fair. That's
It's
fair.
like
Yeah.
a 3-hour and 10-minute movie.
Right? Is it really 3 hours? Jesus.
Oh yeah, and there's even like I have a Blu-ray, like Blu-ray 4K, whatever it's called. They have the theatrical release, and then they have the uncut release, and the uncut is like pushing close to like 3 hours and like 48 minutes.
Well, that makes sense because
Wow.
with his Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, all the extended versions are like 4 hours long. So I'm kind of not surprised.
Yeah.
Fantastic movies, though. I see, Linda, that you do have something coming up in production. Kaiju, Island of Fire. Can you give us a little story on that?
The only story I have is I've been talking to them for a year and a half,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
they've actually paid me half, and I have no idea when we're going to shoot,
Okay.
But I said, and I said, why are you paying me for something I haven't even done? And they
Haven't
said,
even
we
started
want to
yet.
make sure that you're going to be around to do
Hey,
it
stay
when
no
we're ready.
potato.
I said,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so you want me to obligate myself, which of course I would do willingly. I don't have a date. Last I talked to Avery, they were still shooting in Japan. So I don't have a date yet, but I'm anxious to see, what it's going to be. Very anxious.
Okay.
The summary of it all is military force explores ancient Japanese island for missing construction crew building military base. They encounter fiery landscape concealing destructive threat endangering them all and all trespassers.
So
Sounds
it's just a cameo. It's not like a part. It's
Mm.
just a cameo.
Okay.
But I think there's a lot of other people that are doing cameos, so they're doing that to attract as many people to the film as possible. So I'm excited because I like to work.
I know,
I like to
100%.
work.
I
Yeah.
like to work too, and sometimes it's overwork, but it's okay.
Actually, this is not a kaiju film, but when I was in Akron, I met a film guy, and he does independent films, and he said, I'm working on a script that you would be perfect. Now, how many times have I heard that? So, working on a script that you'd be perfect for, and so he sent me some of his movies, and then he just sent me an email saying that he was about 90% done with the script. He should have it done in the next couple of months, and they're scouting location, and so he says, I definitely want you in it. So I'm very excited. I mean, it's an independent film, and it's not going to be like a major production or anything, but here's the thing I was telling some of my church friends. I said, I want to act, but I don't want to be in Hollywood. I don't want to be part of that scene because that's not
Right.
who I am.
Yeah.
And I don't want to become like that. I mean, I lived that when I first came back from Japan. I experienced all that. And even though now I could handle it because I'm older and wiser and more
I
blunt
go
than
through
I
the
used to
hassle
be.
of it.
I don't, it's just not my thing. So I said, so this is exciting to me because I still can express myself artistically
Mm-hmm.
and act and I don't care if anybody doesn't even, well, I do care, but I don't, it's like, even if nobody sees it, but me, but the opportunity to be in front of a camera again and to play a character, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited.
And I
So,
feel like they
Wow,
chose the
that's
right
beautiful.
person, especially with
Yeah.
such a person who has a heart like that. Yeah, 100% deserves to just, especially not to get caught up in the whole. And I mean, even though you said you were wiser, totally.
yeah.
And yeah, the Hollywood scene is definitely not something pleasant. We all know, even those who aren't in the scene to begin
Yeah.
with. But yeah, you shouldn't you shouldn't have to deal with that hassle because it's not,
No.
none of it's fun to begin
Yeah.
with, anyways.
And it's just, when I came back from Japan, I had just turned 20. And so Rhodes got me set up with an agent and got me in acting school. He kind of like directed me, or guided me is the correct word. And I loved it. But then you have the real world experience of the
Mm-hmm.
business side of it. And I didn't love that so much. So after a couple of years, I thought, my heart wasn't in it. And my poor mother, when I told her, I said, I'm not going to act anymore. She was more disappointed than I was, So, but I knew I made the right decision, and I never thought about acting again until I started going to conventions, and then it's like the old desire started bubbling up again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And now I'm curious. Hold on one second. My Alexa's talking. Alexa, stop. Sorry, she wanted to tell me the weather.
Can I tell you a quick Alexa story?
Please.
Go for it. The
Okay.
floor is yours.
I was dating my friend in Austin, Texas, and I had just gotten an Alexa, and I was playing around with it. And I said, Alexa, are Fred and I going to get married? And she said, but she said to me, it's highly unlikely.
And she was right. There you
Yeah.
go.
And I
There
knew
you
it,
go.
and I just cracked up,
That's
So anyway,
no.
I'm
It's great because you can do anything. Like you can ask her to like flip a coin. You can ask her to tell you a dad joke, and whatnot. And it's so much. It's fun. But that's like one of those like magic 8 balls. It's like, all right, well we'll be together.
yeah,
Highly unlikely. Oh well, thanks.
Thanks.
AI thingy. Great.
Yeah.
It's like for my mom, it's like, when she gets ready to leave to go to work or we go check on her dogs and vice versa, she'll say, Alexa, I'm leaving. The lights will dim and they'll play like soft music for the dogs to keep them entertained.
Oh.
Thermostat would be set to like 74 degrees. So they'll just like, they have their own little setup. So anytime we have to leave, we would say, Alexa, I'm leaving. And then it does all the crazy stuff.
See, I bought the special plugs and never used them. The only thing I use that for, and I won't say her name because she's sitting right there, is she wakes me up every morning to music, and that's what I do. And then I'll say, "What's the weather today?"
Yes.
And then she'll.
I have that program. That's why I like to listen. I hear it, and she'll like, oh, the weather in Mine Hill, New Jersey is
Actually,
blah
one
blah
second.
blah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm like, where did he just go?
I don't know. He just left.
It's all right. He might have had to go get something. So, Linda, a quick question.
Yes.
I lost my train of thought on that one. Your with your first G-Fest experience. Actually, no. Scratch that. You mentioned how going to conventions ignited a fire for you to act again. Do you remember which convention like that happened at? And if you don't, it's okay. I'm just very curious.
I keep hearing somebody's phone.
Ramon, is your
It
phone going off?
What?
Is your phone going off, Ramon? It's not
No,
mine.
sir.
Mine's on silent.
No, sir. Mine's on silent.
Oh, we got a ghost.
That's a very good question. I think it was actually like, I'm trying to think of the year. I did a convention in New Jersey, in Wayne, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it was just a 1-day convention. And my manager at the time, he and I had a big fight over it, and that actually split us up. So it was 2000, it must have been 2021, you know. And Carl and I were talking, Carl Craig and I were talking about our experiences. And I remember a fan coming up, and fans had done this before in the past. Are you going to act again? Oh, no, I'm not. Anyway, while Carl and I were talking, a fan came up and said, you know what, you should act again, you know. And it just somehow struck a chord. And I don't know why, but it was like, yeah, I should.
Yep.
Why not?
Let's
Why
get it.
shouldn't I? You know, and because what happens is, you know, the first third of my life was very exciting and wonderful, and then the second third was just really ho hum and responsibility and all that kind of stuff. And so, in the last third part of my life, it's like all of that has been reignited. You know, the fun part, the creative part, you know, even just going to conventions, even not acting or anything, just being around the people and talking about the film and their experiences. It's just awesome. It's just, I love it. So anyway, when she said this to me, I think it was a she, it just kind of hit a chord, and actually, I don't want to get too far off on this, but actually I had been praying about, what do I do with my life? You know, I mean, this is all fun and games, and I really enjoy it. And then I go back to my regular life, but you know, why should I have to give up on a dream I had just because I'm now in my 70s? Why should I? You know, so I had been praying in that vein. And so I just felt that was the Lord giving me a nod of encouragement, saying, yeah, you don't. Sister.
You have to take
Yeah.
all signs as something, you know, no matter what. Like if you ask and it's presented to you, like how could you not take up on it?
Yeah.
So I love that. I that's really nice to hear, because I feel like there's that element at the conventions with the fans and you guys where, you know, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's always robotic, but there are times where it is robotic. Like I remember seeing Dean Cain at Chiller. Nice guy, but it was kind of the same thing over and over again. You know, oh, thank you very much. Oh, it means a lot. And you kind of like, yeah, I can hear it in your voice. You're tired. I get it, 100%. But then when, you know, you do these and other actors and actresses, you hear it in their voice, and it's always something different. It's like, oh my God, yeah, da 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 da. Except Don Fry. Don Fry he was just a one sentence guy. He just.
He's a trip, isn't he?
Oh my God, I love him.
Yeah.
I have a picture of me and him, and we're standing like this. And I remember before the photo was taken, I looked over at his fist, and I'm like, his fist is it's the size of my head. It's like this. I'm like,
yeah.
my God,
He's a big boy.
if he would have hit me, I would have been like, oh my Jesus. But he's hilarious. I love meeting him. He was so much fun.
We did G-Fest together.
Which year was that?
I think 2017, maybe.
No. This was okay, we're in 23. We did G-Fest together.
I do remember that. That's where I met him, actually.
Huh.
And I believe,
Funny.
were you in the same room as that?
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't remember the room. See, this is what happens when you get as old as I am. You forget things. Linda, don't get old. I promise you. It's horrible.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
that was
I'll take your word.
that was the first G Fest I was supposed to attend to, but unfortunately, a family member had passed away during that time, and
Oh,
I
I
was just
remember
like,
that. I remember you telling me about that.
no, because I asked you, like, hey, if I go, can we meet up and blah blah blah, and you were totally down for it, but 3 weeks leading up to it, I was like, yeah, I don't think I can go because the family member
mm,
just died, so you know,
that's too
it's
bad.
no, it absolutely sucks, but last year I definitely made up for it, and um, tremendous experience, and regardless of what he says, the guy in the middle on my screen, he was a rock star.
Uh,
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
well,
Every,
it's funny. People, my friends will ask me, "How is it?" And I said, "You wouldn't believe how exhausting it is to be to smile and be friendly for 8 hours a day." And I said, and you're not working hard, but it is very tiring
It
and
is.
and exhausting, and yet you have to forge through because this may be the only time that person sees you, and you don't want to disappoint them.
And they could.
So,
I mean, I don't know if it's just the Godzilla and Kong fans. I don't, and maybe it's the Marvel fans too. But like, I feel like we could talk to you for hours, and we
oh
won't.
yeah,
We won't understand the meaning of time. We'll just keep on going and just word vomit all over you, and eventually you have to tell us, okay, time to go now. I got the line outside the door waiting to get signatures from me. So
yeah.
it can be very exhausting, I'm sure, but I doubt
I
it.
had when I was in California at Pleasanton, I think it was. Um, I had one fan that just would not leave, and
oh
so I
no,
thought, well, I guess he's going to stay here. So I said, whatever his name, I know his name. I'm going to say, Mister, can you just step
sir.
aside? Let me just sign these autographs, and then we can continue. Because I did want to say, get lost, because I didn't mean that, but I
But
did
you
not want.
But you're like, hey, gotta
get lost. Let's
get
go. Move
lost,
along,
like
buddy.
kind of gotta keep the fans happy, but
Yeah,
come on, you
yeah.
gotta scooch on over
So.
now.
Oh, that's good.
And
No,
that's the worst experience I've ever had. So,
that you know what
yeah.
to say that is actually like really impressive because you hear it
Yeah,
all the time. Like people get stalked and DDoS and all that stuff. It's like, well,
I ha I
my
haven't
own
had that.
experience. That's good. I'm glad. I hate.
No, I haven't had that.
or
And I don't want to have that experience
No,
either.
no, 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 no.
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 We
But
don't want.
but but I will tell you that I know at G Fest they all party.
Mhm.
A lot of, you
The
guys
blood
party
moon
and stuff.
party and all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't. I do my thing. I have dinner with whoever we're all having dinner with, and then I go to my room because I don't want to make
You
a
don't
fool
want
of
it.
myself. Yeah.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I'm saying?
understandable. I
No.
feel well now that since they changed the hotel, they don't even have like a patio party anymore at the Crown.
Oh, yeah.
They did it last year. They put it in the Caddy Shack, so you had to pay like an admin fee and all that. And I
Oh,
remember. I don't remember the turnout. I don't do the partying thing either. I was exhausted, and
yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm ready to just go to bed.
No,
But the fireworks were nice.
oh yeah, I was asked several times about it, Sunday leading up to it, like, hey, you're gonna go to this, you're gonna go to party, you're gonna go to party. I was like, nah, I think my folks and I we're gonna check out. It's been an amazing weekend, but
Yeah.
we gotta go back to the real world, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
go back to working at a job that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. But
Yeah.
Uh,
no, I was like, I appreciate wanting me to be there, and like, oh, it's your ball boy, I love you to stick around. I was like, nah, I gotta go, and plus, I'm not a big
Yeah.
partying guy myself. I just go to work, come home, be with my puppy. I don't know if you can see him right now. It's kind of
he's off in the corner.
yeah,
The big boy.
Well,
yeah. He's
and that's the thing. There's a lot of drinking that goes on, and
yeah,
and
it's
uh,
fun.
I don't need to be around all that, and
Of course,
No, no.
you know,
you have to be
'cause,
comfortable.
yeah, I didn't want to be uncomfortable, and so I just go to my room and watch TV and enjoy myself, get ready for the next day.
That's it. That's all you. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Ramon, final thoughts, my good sir.
So, there's something I want to ask you. I don't
Okay.
know if this is set in stone or this is. I want to put this out there in the universe for you because I hope this happens for you. So, I believe last year, the video that we posted of you leading up to this episode there was a petition to get you in the MonsterVerse.
Yes.
I signed it twice as my personal name and my Instagram name because I'm trying
That's
to
cheating
help
the
you.
system there, good sir. You just exposed yourself.
Whatever, come at me. But what I'm putting this out there in the universe because I'm hoping that you get the spotlight to be in the MonsterVerse. What would it mean for you if this becomes a possibility?
Everything. I mean, I would so much want to do that. I mean, so much. Because, you know, when you feel that you haven't reached your potential yet and there's not an opportunity, it's not just frustrating. I would, yeah, I don't know how to express, I want to do it. That's what I would say. Yes, 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 yes. I would love that opportunity. I would love, see, because when I did King Kong Escapes, I didn't know how to act. I didn't know anything. And I'm not saying I'm a Academy Award winning actress, but I'm better than I was. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I would like to have an opportunity to do that, you know, and especially in one of those films, you know.
I think we're gonna have to tag the hell out of Legendary when the episode is released, and just every comment is just at Legendary, just so we can get their attention to this video and clip this for her. So Legendary, we're gonna send it to Legendary.
Oh,
Screw this. We're making this happen.
I
That's
would
it.
be on
We're
top of
done.
that. I would be on top of that.
Awesome.
I'll make
We're
sure
gonna
this
make this
happens.
happen either way.
We're gonna
Oh,
make this happen.
that,
There
oh,
it is.
I would think I died and went to heaven. That's how, yeah.
That's so
No,
cool.
I would love that. I mean, it's like one of those things that you want so much you don't even want to say it out loud. You know what I mean?
You got to put it
Yeah.
in the universe, though. You know, it'll
That's
manifest
true.
eventually, right? You know,
That's right.
you got your answer at one point in time. So I think we gotta start manifesting this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beautifully.
Yep. Because my mom always told me, you know, when you put something out in the universe, it will happen. It's gonna take time, of course, but
your dog just jumped off the bed.
but what, you know, when it happens, it will. You know, it might not happen right away because, you know, greatness does not happen overnight.
Yes.
But I have a feeling, and, you know, I pray to God that this happens for you because you deserve this. I hope to see you maybe for this upcoming film or maybe a film down the line. I hope to see you on the big screen as Susan Watson in the MonsterVerse with
That'd
Kong.
be cool.
Oh, would that be so cool? That would be so cool.
That would be like really super sweet. That'd be great. Yeah, hopefully it'll happen. Maybe we can help out with that. Not that we're huge and whatnot, but we're gonna bug Legendary until they tell us to stop it. So you can count on us on that one, Linda.
Thank you both for that. Honestly, yeah.
Absolutely, we are happy to do so. So I you know, with it being Mother's Day, we don't want to keep you much longer on here. If you got plans, we want you to go ahead and enjoy yourself. So
you know what? My plans are to watch Godzilla -1.
There we go. You heard it from Linda.
You heard it
on
here
Mother's Day. That's what
on
Mother's
United
should
Kaiju
do.
Podcast.
She should get to do what she wants, and if it's Godzilla -1, then that's what she's gonna do. Yeah. But please let our listeners know where we can find you. Any upcoming thing that you got going on that you want people to know about. I want you to use us for everything and anything you got. Lay it on us, Linda.
Well, I've got the thing, Kaiju Brooklyn, or Brooklyn Kaiju. I always get it backwards.
I believe it's Kaiju Brooklyn, yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to be in Oregon in August sometime. And that's all I have booked so far for this year. So that's it right now. And hopefully I'll be starting on a film sometime this year from that independent. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So, yeah.
And your social medias, please. Any tags you got, lay it on us.
I got I'm on Facebook. It's Linda Miller, King Kong Escapes, Facebook. And then and I don't know how to use Instagram that well. So I haven't posted because I don't know how yet. But it's lindajoe.miller, I think is what it is on Instagram.
Yep.
And so so what I do is I go to a convention and I find some young person, say, okay, show me how to do this. So.
Linda, listen, if you all want some help, me and Ramon, we're more than happy to give you the lesson, especially this guy right here. He'll help you out 100%. Mr.
Awesome.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on my page. I don't know what I've been doing. I don't know what has been happening.
It's good content, dude.
But my page is just growing consistently. I am forever humble about it. I am forever grateful for the love and support that this community continues to give to me. So I want to thank everybody for that, because seriously, it means the freaking universe to me, and I'm so
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Like he said, if you ever want help from myself or him, reach out to us. We got you.
Okay.
100%. With that said, Ramon, you want to leave us with the final words? Well, the outro, I guess to say.
Okay. Well, I'll do my part, then she'll do. Yeah. Okay. But Linda, once again, it has been an amazing honor for you to join us for this amazing episode of United Kaiju Podcast. My co-host and I are forever grateful that you are here with us, and we thank you. It's been a fun episode, and now I'm kind of getting to that starstruck in place, because it's just.
Ain't he adorable? Just want to pinch his cheeks a little bit. Like, you're so cute. Come here, you.
But no, in all seriousness, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from the bottom of John's heart. It just means everything to us. We want you to be successful. We want the best for you. And, I hope, somewhere down the line, we, can communicate a little more, because I love to pick your thoughts on some things. But, Linda, one last time, please close out the show of United Kaiju Podcast. Please bless one last time. John, kind of turn the picture a little bit.
Daddy's home. Cake tonight. Is that
works for me? That's perfect.
Daddy's
It
home.
works. Cake
tonight.
It's Mother's Day, so we're gonna allow it with that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Linda.
Awesome.
And with that being said, we want to thank everybody who is listening, who is watching, who is turning in to the United Kaiju
thank you,
Podcast.
everybody.
We also want to thank once again Linda for joining us on Mother's Day for this lovely episode. We learned a lot about you and heard some really fantastic stories. And remember, folks, it doesn't matter how old you are. Your life can begin at any age, as long as you take those opportunities that knock on your door. Don't be afraid at all.
Absolutely.
Once again, please, we enjoy all your feedback. We listen to you, so please leave a comment if you like. The episode will be up on Spotify on Tuesday, and the YouTube episode will be posted shortly after that. Once again, we want to thank our guest, Linda Miller, for joining us today, and we hope you moms out there have an amazing Mother's Day. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Ramon, please say Happy Mother's Day to your mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Love you so much. Thank you.
There we go, folks. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. And as always, stay united. Thank you very much.
We out. We love you guys. Thank you.
Don't call. Yeah, let him go.
But he's going.
He's going home. I think he's had enough of what we call civilization.